Okay, welcome to devlog number 3 for the Moon project. I guess it's technically number 2, but it's the third one, whatever. So I have accomplished a decent amount this month to go over the boring, repetitive stuff. I re-rigged the character again. I remade pretty much all the original animations, and we have some new ones now. So with Blender 4.0, AutoRig Pro actually works for me now. So I kind of think I had another plugin for Blender that was messing it up because it used to always give me errors. So I rigged the character with AutoRig Pro. It's using its default rig, which mostly is handy. I do kind of miss having. I mean, I know I could just add this, but at this point, I'm not screwing with it. I do miss having the aim to thing where my head I could just move a thing and it would automatically look at it. The other thing I liked on my rig better was I had double jointed knees and elbows, so the knees deformed a lot nicer and realistically. But that's kind of nitpicky for this kind of game. I mean, you can't really see it anyway. The one thing that is kind of weird is this actually looks like the legs clipping here, but it's not. Okay, it's almost clipping, but it isn't actually clipping. It's just that hard angle. Maybe I should put a bevel there. I don't know. But just really the camera angle. I don't think anyone cares. I need to just move on. I was looking at AAA game reference animations. I was like, they have stuff that clips. I need to not nitpick this so much. But yeah, this is the new running animation, the running forward one. Let's just go to the engine so you can see it with the gun actually following the character. Because the rig, when I did the AutoRig Pro, it's actually the third time I made the animation, but I had it, and then I kind of realized later on that AutoRig Pro has this setting you can just turn on, and then it renames the skeleton for Unreal Engine, because the default AutoRig skeleton is a horrific mess in the engine and causes some other blending issues like I originally had. But that has all been solved. Rigging for this main character, I refuse to redo it again. This is going to be good enough one way or another. I'm pretty happy with what I've managed to do here. So there is a forward walk, which is mostly alright. I'm kind of now realizing how I didn't actually cut this in here. Okay, there we go. I had to quick fix that. Yeah, the AutoRig Pro has its own exporter, and sometimes I forget that I have to make a setting in there. Every time I look at these, I start to hate them again. There's so much that could be. It just seems so stiff. Anyway, I can work on that. It's to a point. It is good, and I can always make tweaks. That's for the stage of game we're at, I think it's fine. I can always smooth some things out later. But I do also now have backward walk and a backward run. I discovered Blender, you can just mirror the keyframes, so I pretty much just did that and then changed the foot angles at a couple of the contact frames and stuff to make that look decent. But let's see it actually in the game. I'll do two because I do want to show. I did some hit react animations, so there's 2 hit react animations as well. Although currently the hit detection is a little buggy because I don't have hitboxes yet, so it actually is hitting the physics asset. So sometimes it hits my own hand, but you can see that angle it's working. And if I keep shooting him, there's 2 different hit reacts he will do. You can also see crosshairs turn green when I aim at them. They're also dynamic, so they spread more based on if you're jumping, moving, speed, and if you're shooting. Although actually, they do not appear to be. Oh no, they are spreading when I shoot. Okay, it's just because this window is so small, it's barely noticeable. Maybe I should. That's weird. I feel like that's usually bigger. It is spreading, but it's a really small amount. I'm going to have to look into that because that was, I feel like, much bigger before. But they do shrink a little when you aim. So if you're not moving and you aim, you get the circle all the way zoomed in. You can see here I'm kind of alternately shooting myself. But there we go. If I move backwards, I can always shoot. So those are the main things. There's also, as you probably noticed there, because I kind of forgot that I didn't have them last month, I did 3 different particle effects. 2 were really simple. The muzzle flash was the big one. So it took me a couple days. I think there's the front view, the side view, which is the same as the top view. I kind of like remade it a few different ways. I was using like a mesh renderer first, and then I went to a sprite renderer. I couldn't like decide which was the best way to do it. And then getting the sprite renderer constrained. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And then obviously sparks were super easy. And then, yeah, the other two I made, which is just like the tracer, that's obviously very easy. And then there's sparks for when the bullet actually hits something, whatever gets hit, there's sparks. I need to make them a bit smaller, though. They're kind of big right now. If I shoot him, you can see they're kind of spawning up. Let me drag this over so we can see them better. You can see on the server character there on the left, the sparks. Maybe they're not too big. I don't know. I'll have to see more. Not like I can't change that whenever I want. So there's also turning in place now, which the blending needs a little bit of work, but it does have turn in place. Aim offsets are there and functional. And let me get the controller so I can actually move slow enough to walk. So walking is a thing. Hopefully next month we'll have some gunshot sounds too. Walking backwards is a thing. Running backwards is a thing. Running forwards is a thing. I gotta do a sprint too soon. The one thing I have to figure out too in the blending is if you go like right between the speeds of like walking and running, it starts doing this weirdness. So it does it. I think it does it for forward too, if I can get the right. Actually, it's not as noticeable for forward. I have to do something about the sensitivity to turn on this. It's really slow. I feel like it wasn't that bad before, so I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, so it's coming along, like 4 months of progress, I guess it's. So 2 hit reacts, turn in place left and right, back walker, and all the other ones are remade. I did also extend the jump animation because I was originally doing the typical jump animation, which was like 30 frames. And then since I was like, you know what, doesn't look that great. And since you're in air for a really long time, I basically extended it to 100 frames and made a little more like idle animation kind of movement going on there. It's pretty subtle, but I think it definitely improves it. I should probably make the movement speed a little slower here. All that, obviously is just polishing things. But I can't complain too much. Game is coming along. Also, the other thing I did this month is I took my first game I ever made that I made on mobile and I ported it to PC. Here it is. It's out on... I wasn't going to put it on itch.io, but it's a really basic game and honestly it probably belongs there. I was mainly porting it just so I could practice doing the Steam release, which is good because I am discovering that putting a game on Steam is a little bit more involved. This whole page enlisting took me like 45 minutes to do. Steam, I think you even have to have the Steam page up for like 30 days before you can even release it. I'm not sure about that. I have to keep going on that one. The actual store page I think I have set up there. It's actually submitted for review. I still have to figure out what exactly they want for the build because it's very unclear. I'm not sure what I have to do for that. So I'm using this old game ported as like practice. So when I release the Moon game, I actually know what I'm doing. But if you want to check this one out, it is currently on sale for $1.11. There'll be a link in the description should you care. The only other thing I'm remembering, at least that I did this month, is since I got AutoRig Pro working, I did get a quick rig going for our alien. So he is actually rigged. Might have to do a little bit of weight paint refining, but since he doesn't really have... He's got an exoskeleton, but doesn't really have hard armor. I'm not really expecting too much annoyance with all of that. Shouldn't be too bad. So yeah, he's ready for animation when I eventually get to that. I've kind of changed, rather than just animating constantly and then programming constantly, I'm kind of alternating like days between making animations and implementing new features because really I just hate doing the same thing over and over, and I spent like a month straight animating and wanted to kill myself. So to avoid that, I am having a lot more fun just animating one day, programming the next. Thanks for checking in, and I will make another one of these in another month. So stay tuned for that.